everybody. Today let's talk about syntax. Syntax. We talked about sentence types in lesson 4. You can think of today as an advanced level of sentence type. So, shall we start today's class? Let's go. Okay, guys, please pay attention. Let's see the slide. Okay, what is a sentence? A sentence is a unit of meaning that is made up of a group of words and represents a complete event or state. Therefore, a sentence basically consists of a subject and a predicate. And you can make a statement about a certain situation, declarative sentence, 평서문, ask a question, interrogative sentence, 의문문, give a command, imperative sentence, 명령문, or propose to be together, propositive sentence, 청유문, used to express emotion, exclamatory sentence, 감탄문. Unlike English, Korean does not have separate capital letter, 대문자, and small letter, 소문자. So there is no need to capitalize the first letter of the Korean sentence. However, at the end of sentences, a period and a dot must be added to declarative sentences, imperative sentences, and exclamation sentences. And a question mark, 물음표, must be added to an interrogative sentence. And an exclamation mark, 느낌표, to an exclamation sentence. Let's move to the next page. Now let's talk a little bit more about the composition of sentences in Korean. Sentential components include subject, predicate, object, complement, adjectives, adverbs, independent languages, etc. There are two main features of subject in Korean sentences. First, there are many sentences that skip the subject in Korean. Skip. In other words, Koreans tend to omit most of the situational elements such as 나, 너, 지금, 여기 when speaking. And there is a tendency when necessary to use the subject 나, 내 rather than 우리, 우리의. Look at the example sentence below. 전에 한 번 뵌 적이 있는 것 같습니다. How would you say this sentence in English? I think I haven't seen you before, right? In English sentence, the subject I is inserted. However, in Korean, if the subject is duplicated, the other subject is skipped. Look at the next sentence. 죄송합니다. 성함이 뭐라고 하셨는지 잘 못 들었습니다. How would you say this sentence in English? I'm sorry I didn't get your name. In this sentence, the subject I is placed at the beginning. However, in Korean sentence, you can see that the subject speaker, 화자, is omitted. Look at the next sentence. 정말 기분이 좋군요. How would you say this sentence in English? Oh, how glad I am. Similarly, in English sentence, the subject is written. And in Korean sentences, the subject is omitted. Next sentence. 어디 보자. 10시 30분입니다. How would you say this sentence in English? Let's see, it is 10:30. Look at the next sentence. 그렇게 생각하세요? How would you say this sentence in English? Do you think so? Do you think so? Here again, the subject you is revealed in the English sentence, but it is skipped in the Korean sentence. And then the last sentence, look. 우리 딸은 이번에 대학교에 입학했어요. Sorry, I wrote a different sentence. 우리 딸은 이번에 대학교에 입학했어요 is the right sentence. How would you say this sentence in English? My daughter has just entered university this year. That is, in Korean sentences, there is a tendency to use 우리, 우리의, 우리의, 우리 딸은. On the other hand, in English sentence, I use my to express my daughter. 나의 딸, 내 딸. This is also the basic difference between two languages, English and Korean. Okay, let's see the next page. The second point of the subject of Korean sentence is that Korean puts person as the subject of the sentence. In English, besides, on the other hand, in English there is the tendency to put things, events, and work as subject. But in Korea, they are not taken as subject except for special emphasis. In particular, it should be noted that in Korean, rather than using the English impersonal pronoun 가주어, it, specific object, event, day, distance, time, day, wait, like this, is used as the subject. Look at the example sentence below. 나는 그 일 때문에 뉴욕에 왔다. 그 일이 나를 뉴욕에 데리고 왔다. How would you say this sentence in English? It brought me to New York. Or business brought me to New York, right? And the next sentence, 날씨가 더워요. It's hot. And then, 내일은 일요일이다. It's Sunday tomorrow. 서울까지의 거리가 30마일이다. It's 30 miles to Seoul. Impersonal pronoun 가주어 it in English does not exist in Korean. This is the point. This is the very point. Be sure to remember, guys. Okay, keep going. The next page. Let's summarize the word order in basic sentence structure of Korean. In Korean, the subject comes at the beginning of the sentence, then the object, and then the verb at the end. Of course, it can be inverted for special purposes. When comparing Korean sentences with English, the biggest difference is that the predicate must come at the end of the sentence. However, in Korean, because the function of the word is determined by the particles, the word order can be changed relatively freely for emphasis or other purposes. However, it is common for the verb to come last, and the word order does not change even when the declarative sentence is made into an interrogative sentence, 의문문. Just change the declarative ending to the interrogative ending and add a question mark, 물음표. Unlike English, in Korean, the indirect particles object appears as an essential adverb component because the indirect object is attached to an adverb or particle such as 에게, 깨, 에, 에게, 깨, 에. Necessarily, adverbs and direct objects can be reordered. For example, 영수가 순이에게 선물을 주었다. Please see the examples. Since there is a direct object, 선물을, 직접 목적어, in 영수가 순이에게 선물을 주었다. This sentence. The essential adverb, 순이에게, 필수적 부사어, must be present. And the next sentence. 선생님께서 책을 영수에게 사주었다. In the sentence, 선생님께서 책을 영수에게 사주었다. Since there is a direct object, 책을, 직접 목적어. The essential adverb, 영수에게, 필수적 부사어, must be present. In Korean, since an adverbial particle such as 으로 is attached to a complement, the complement appears as an essential adverbial component. Look at the last sentence. 아버지께서 자기 아들을 의사로 만들었다. Because 아버지께서 자기 아들을 의사로 만들었다. Also has the object 자기 아들을 the essential adverb 의사로 필수적 부사어 must be present. Okay, then let's move on to the next page. Unlike English, Korean has a well-developed particles. The word order in Korean is very free because the participle shows what the composition of the sentence is. This is a very important feature of Korean language. The following sentences may have slightly different nuance, but the meaning is the same. For example, even though it is the same sentences, can say different by changing the word order. 아버지께서 자기 아들을 의사로 만들었다. 자기 아들을 아버지께서 의사로 만들었다. 자기 아들을 의사로 아버지께서 만들었다. 자기 아들을 의사로 만들었다. 아버지께서. The meaning is all same, right? Okay. Let's move on to the next page. Position of the modifier. Looking at the place of modifier, 수식어. In English, modifier comes after the other modifier. However, in Korean, the modifier word comes before the other modifier word. There are adnominal words that modify nouns and adverbs that modify verbs. Look at the example sentence below. 의사인 영수가 나를 방문하였다. In this sentence, the official word 의사인 is modifying 영수가. So, 의사인 is adnominal, the part of speech. And then the next sentence, 영수는 어제 학교에 갔다. In this sentence, the adverb 어제, modifying the verb 학교에 갔다, especially 갔다. So move on to the next page. But, however, as shown below, the position of the adnominal cannot be changed. What? Adnominal cannot be changed. 의사인 영수가 나를 방문하였다. So, doctor is 영수. And then 영수가 의사인 나를 방문하였다. In this sentence, doctor is me. If you change the position of the adjective like this, the meaning of the sentence changes completely, right? 영수 is not equal me, right? But the position of the adverb can be changed relatively freely. It can be changed. 어제 영수는 학교에 갔다. 영수는 어제 학교에 갔다. 영수는 학교에 어제 갔다. 영수는 학교에 갔다. 어제. The adverb 어제, position is very freely, right? Change the position of adverb does not change the meaning. Okay, let's move on to the next page. Earlier, we looked at sentence components and sentence types. Syntax is another word for 문장론, sentence theory. Having studied the types and components of sentences earlier, let's look at sentence expansion, 문장 확장. There are three types of sentence expansion. First, let's see what sentence expansion is. Sentence expansion, 문장 확장, refers to the construction of more complex sentence from basic sentence or simple sentence. It means that single sentence in Korean, 혼문장, 단문, are expanded into complex sentences or double sentences. 견문장, 복문, 견문장. First, let's talk briefly about short and complex sentences. Simple sentence, 혼문장, are also called single sentences. Single sentence basically have a relationship between a subject and predicate. A sentence in which the relationship between the subject and predicate appears one time, is called a simple sentence or single sentence. 혼문장, 단문. Let's read all the example sentences together below. 지연이가 밥을 먹는다. 송이가 학교에 간다. The two sentences are single sentence or simple sentence. Okay, let's move on to the next page. Let's talk about complex sentence. 견문장, 복문. Complex sentences is also called a double sentence. There are cases where more than one relationship between subject and predicate appears in a sentence. This is called a double sentence or complex sentence. 복문, 견문장. A complex sentence can be further divided into a sentence in which a sentence holds another sentence. Its name of embedded sentence, 아는 문장, and a sentence in which a sentence is connected to another sentence. Its name of conjunctive sentence. Conjunctive sentence in Korean, 이어진 문장. Please remember in Korean terms, 아는 문장, 이어진 문장. Look at the examples below. 기억 1. 지연이는 오빠가 외출하기를 기다렸다. 2. 지연이는 집에 있고 오빠는 외출을 하였다. Number 1 and 2 are complex sentences, are both complex sentences in which the relation between the subject and the predicate appears more than one time. In this case, 1번, the sentence 지연이는 기다렸다 is the embedded sentence, 아는 문장, with the sentence 오빠가 외출하다. And number 2 is a continuous sentence in which the sentence 지연이는 있다. 지연이는 집에 있다 is connected equally with the sentence 어머니는 오빠는 외출을 하였다. The structure of these sentences briefly summarized as follows. Okay, let's see this slide. Please see the graph. Sentence is divided into simple sentence, 단문, or complex sentence, 복문, 견문. And then complex sentences divided into embedded sentence, 아는 문장, or conjunctive sentence, 이어진 문장, like this. Please remember this picture. Okay, let's move on to the next page. In this way, a sentence may consist of a short sentence or a complex sentence that combines two or more short sentences. Also, when a sentence is composed of a compound sentence, complex sentence, it is divided into a sentence and a conjunctive sentence according to the way it is composed. As such, a sentence is expanded in various ways, and this feature of a sentence is called an extension sentence. Extension sentence. 문장 확장. 문장 확장. Now we are talking about the terms with conjunctive sentences. 이어진 문장. 이어진 문장. Please see this slide. Conjunctive sentence is literally a sentence with a structure in which one short sentence is connected to another sentence. Connected. Also, the conjunctive sentences are divided into three types according to the following method. Three types. Everyone please see the orange text. Number one, sentences connected in parallel. 대등하게 이어진 문장. Number two, sentence connected as dependent. 종속적으로 이어진 문장. Number three, sentences connected with particles 와, 과, 와, 과. Okay, let's take a look through an examples in detail. Number one, 대등하게 이어진 문장. 대등. Parallel sentences. Let's read aloud together. Three examples. Number one, 소냐는 집에 가고 안토는 공원에 갔다. Number two, 소냐는 집에 갔으나 안토는 공원에 갔다. Number three, 소냐는 집에 갔지만 안토는 공원에 갔다. Please focus on the yellow text. 가고, 갔으나, 갔지만. In the above examples, the preceding and following clauses are connected equally. The point is equally connected by combining with the connecting endings. 뭐뭐고, 뭐뭐으나, 뭐뭐지만, 가고, 갔으나, 갔지만. And then second, 종속적으로 이어진 문장. Sentence connected as dependents. Let's read together three examples. Number one, 비가 오니 강물이 넘쳤다. Number two, 나타샤는 토니아를 찾으려고 온 집안을 둘러봤다. Number three, 더위가 해소되려면 바람이 불어야 한다. Focused on the point 오니, 찾으려고, 되려면. In the above examples, the connecting endings 은이, 으려고, 으면 are combined to connect the preceding and following clauses as subordinate clauses. Subordinate sentences are not independent of each other, and because they are in a relationship of influence and influence, the position of the preceding and following clauses cannot be changed. For example, it is impossible to change the sentence in number one to the word order of 강물이 넘치니 비가 왔다. 강물이 넘치니 비가 왔다. It's not possible, right? And number three, 와, 과로 이어진 문장. Please see this slide. Sentence connected with a particle 와, 과, 와, 과. Let's read aloud together. Examples. Two examples. Number one, 마샤와 인나는 얼굴이 매우 닮았다. Number two, 마샤와 인나는 서점에 갔다. Please focus on the particles 와, 와. Sentence connected with 와, 과 are sentences in which noun, 체언, and noun are connected by a conjunction. Number one is connected with the joint case particles. In Korean, 공동격조사, 와. And second is connected with the conjunctive particles. 접속조사. It's different. It's same form, 와, but it's different. Number one is joint case particles, 공동격조사, and number two particle 와 is conjunctive particles, 접속조사. Okay? In number one, 닮다, 닮았다, means that comparable objects must be grouped with the same component. And number two, 가다. It's basic form of 가다. 가다 has a characteristic that can separate then object. In the end, number one is a simple sentence, and number two is complex sentence, which connected with particles 와, 과. Everyone understand all about this text? I really hope you all understand today's lessons. Okay, then today's ends here. You worked hard today, everyone. Now, in the next lesson, we will talk about linguistics parts in Korean grammar theory. Then see you next time, everyone. Take care. Goodbye. Thank you.